What is going on, everyone? Now that we kind of had a day to sleep on the Eagles-Giants game, kind of digest everything that happened, here's my takeaway. I'm still not sold, okay? I mean, we saw the first half. It was everything that we've seen so far through this season. We also played a terrible Giants team, and Pat Shurmur on the other sideline was just making boneheaded decisions, not using Saquon Barkley, keeping him limited in touches and carries. I mean, beating the Giants isn't anything crazy. But you got to give credit to the secondary and the defense as a whole, and the defensive line only allowing 56 yards in the second half. I don't care if it's Barkley or not. That's pretty impressive to do. So you got to give credit, but I'm just not sold on this football team after a come-from-behind win against the Giants, after we saw what we have seen all season long in the first half. I'm not buying it yet. I need to see more victories and consistency of what we saw in the second half before I can change my mind on this team. But there is one thing that's giving me just the tiniest little bit of hope. And that's what we saw with the run game and after the game. And today with the media, Doug Peterson spoke out and admitted, look, we can win games if we run the football. It's like he just kind of figured that out now, while the fan base has been screaming at him for the last how many games to do it. But now that Doug saw it with his own eyeballs and realized, damn, running the football might work. Maybe we found some sort of identity with Josh Adams. I've said this before. I'm not comparing Josh Adams to Adrian Peterson in his prime, but he has clearly shown us that he can make it work. I mean, he really has been very successful. He's a bigger dude. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but once he gets going with that size, he's tough to bring down. You even saw it during that drive to put us on top in the second half. He had some really nice cut moves laterally to go upfield. I mean, running the football and what we saw out of Josh Adams and even Corey Clement, it gives me a little bit of hope because we know Doug Peterson at this point realized how successful it was. Is it going to be able to work against better defenses? Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see, but committing to a run game gives me a little bit more hope because that opens up the play action, which no one used to bite on with this Eagles team because they knew we weren't going to run the football at all. So it was kind of just blah and did nothing, and it wasn't effective. I am happy with the win against the Giants. And I know a lot of people are saying, but we didn't do anything. They kind of gave us the game in the second half. We still made plays. I mean, we were down 19-3. We did what we needed to do. We won against the team that was on our schedule for that Sunday. And I mean, I really do believe it. I know that Barkley didn't play in the second half, but regardless of who was out on the field, you got to respect holding a football team to 56 yards in the second half, no matter who is out there. I'm not 100% bought in. I still think there are just an absurd amount of flaws. Obviously, the injury. I'm not sold on Jim Schwartz. I'm not sold on Mike Rowe and being shut out in the first quarter every single game. 9 of 11 games. Not every game. There were 2 that we weren't. But my takeaways, well, I guess in reality, there's one takeaway. There's one takeaway. It's we can run the football. And if we keep the passing and the running to a very similar amount of play calls and distributed 50-50, we can be effective. We can be effective. We figured it out a little late, in my opinion, which blows my mind. I mean, we've really been screaming for it every single week. Every week. It's seriously running through my head of Andy Reid. And it makes sense, obviously, with Doug Peterson being from the Andy Reid tree. I'm not sold, but there's a tiny little bit of hope that maybe we found a run game that can help us win against Washington. I'm 1 week at a time. I'm not worried about this, that, and the other. I'm worried about the Washington Redskins on Monday night. That's all I care about. That's all we can control. We go out there, we win at home on Monday Night Football, and that's what we do. We continue to run the football, we win a football game, and that's all we can control. But I need to see Doug Peterson with some consistency with this play calling. We found it. We found someone who is obviously working. Continue it. Continue it. As of Jim Schwartz, I forgot to mention this. Malcolm Jenkins, post-game, went to Jim Schwartz and said, listen, let's make it simple. We got guys out here that don't know what the hell they're doing. Let's make it simple for them. Put the pressure on the D-line. That worked. So we have guys like Malcolm Jenkins stepping up and telling our defensive coordinator what to do. I don't know if that's a positive or a negative in reality. I don't know. But it worked. So hopefully we can build off that. Hopefully we get a couple cornerbacks back, maybe Jordan Hicks back. I don't know what the injury situation is yet right now at this very moment. Hopefully someone comes back and helps out. There's only one thing we can control, and that's beating the Redskins at home. I just want to see this team build off the run game and maybe build off of whatever Malcolm Jenkins figured out with Jim Schwartz. That's all. Those are my takeaways of this game. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.